Okay, this is Mark Rollins, and I'm going to talk about a film called Blue Ruin. Now, normally when I do these 10-minute rants, I talk about films that are more recent, or shows that are more recent. Blue Ruin is a film, I think it's from 2014, so it's an older film. But for some reason, a lot of people on TikTok are talking about this film. And I can see why. It was on Prime, and I went like, well, I've never really heard of this film, but a lot of people are talking about it. I'm glad I watched it. It's a film that's about a revenge. And it's a very simple revenge story. And one of the things that people like about this film is it's not about a guy, say, like Liam Neeson, who's like this master, or this guy who's gifted in a certain set of skills, or like in Kill Bill, where the main character was like a professional assassin. So they know how to get around and they know how to stay under the radar and stuff like that. No, this is a film about a guy who's basically, his parents were killed when he was a kid, and I think his parents were killed. Actually, you know what? I think I might have missed a few lines as far as like why he hates this guy so much. But I believe his motivation is to kill the person who killed his parents, because as it so happens, the guy that was accused of the action was released from jail. And yeah, so he's going like, okay, now I'm going to kill this guy. And here's the thing. I'm going to probably spoil this thing. It turns out that he does get his revenge. Like in the first half hour of the film. I don't think that's really a spoiler if I'm talking about something that happens almost immediately in the film and really sets off the plot line as we know it. And so from there on, it's like this guy's family, of course, wants revenge, so they're hunting him down. Now, this is one of those films in which, like, it's very quiet. There's not a lot of dialogue, and you're meant to observe things. It's kind of like the film, let's see, a good example would be No Country for Old Men, which also featured a character who's thrown into a very high crime sort of situation, but he's essentially a novice. He's where he finds like I don't know, $250,000, and then he's trying to escape with it, and but he knows he's being followed, essentially, and he's trying to figure out how to evade the guy who's following him, and he's trying to figure out ways that he can hide the money where, you know, and to make quick escapes. And for the most part, he actually does a pretty good job. But if you've seen No Country for Old Men, it featured a very larger-than-life assassin in that particular film. Blue Ruin, I don't really feel like there's any larger-than-life characters in it. I feel like these characters, they feel very real. They feel like this story could be happening right next to you, and you would never know it. And actually, I believe that's kind of the point of the film, where okay, I'll have to get to the... Okay, hopefully I'll remember to reveal this thing when I get to the end, because usually at the 9-minute mark I start getting real heavy spoilers if you really want to see it, and usually people kind of tune out if they don't want it spoiled by that time. But essentially, yeah, Blue Ruin is about this guy who's essentially homeless. He's I don't know, I don't know what has happened to him, as far as like, was he not able to get a job or something like that, or has his revenge consumed him so much that he just doesn't want to do anything. I'm not really certain. He lives out of his car, and and he's just kind of, and he parks when he needs to sleep and stuff like that. And then one day he hears about the release of this guy, and so he goes after the guy, kills the guy, and then he gets back with his family, I think his sister. Unfortunately, the villains manage to, or the guy's family that he basically, yeah. When he kills this one guy, this guy has a family, and then that family starts coming after him, is what happens. And from there, it gets pretty brutal there. This film does not shy away from the brutality of violence that would happen here. It also doesn't shy away from the realism of what would happen here, that things are going on. When the action that happens in this film, it happens quick and not in the way you might think. This isn't one of those films where a character knows how to do this perfect roundhouse kick to the face, or to throw a perfect punch, or to even hold a gun steady. And I actually like this. A lot of films, characters can not only shoot, but they're so good at aiming. And I feel like, no, that wouldn't work. I feel like most of the time, most people would miss if they were are trying to shoot. And a lot of the times these characters do miss. And I kind of felt like that feels very realistic. And it's not like the type of missing that you see in a lot of films where, the good guys get missed because they're good guys, and then the good guys retaliate by making perfect shots and stuff like that. And it's not like that at all. It feels like, you're not really, in fact, I'm not even sure that I'm supposed to root for this main character. So, in fact, there's this great scene where he manages to knock out one of the guys. He puts him in the trunk, and then he's kind of wondering, like, well, what do I do with him now? And I think there's actually a scene where he holds a gun at him, and he shoots him, but he misses it like 2 yards or something like that. And it's crazy. And I kind of wondered, like, was he supposed to hit him? I actually don't even know if he meant to shoot and miss. I thought that maybe he was trying to miss just to scare him, and I thought, like, oh, he really intended to kill him there, didn't he? And he really failed on that. And this guy, you have to see a scene where he does a bit of gun training, but it's like, this guy has just picked up a gun like not more than a few hours ago. He's not going to be just constantly shooting people and making perfect hits and stuff like that. This film addresses this. This film is a slow burn as far as like where the action goes. And like I said, when the action happens, it happens very quickly, and you feel the character's sense of like nervousness about it, and oftentimes it ends. Okay, I'm going to get into a bit of some spoilers here on this, but there are some things in this film that are very anticlimactic. And one of the things was that we actually discovered that the person who killed the main character's parents wasn't the guy that was accused for it. It turned out to be that guy's father. So, yeah, that's kind of what happens there. And not only that, this guy's father, the actual killer, just dies, like off screen and through like, I don't know, cancer or something. And so and then there's this scene at the end where the main protagonist is at the home of, he's going to ambush the family that's trying to kill him. And I think now here's the thing about this film, I'm not really certain, like in most revenge stories this happens. Like, say, John Wick or something like that, where the main character kills everybody associated with everything so they can be home free. I'm going to say here, without spoiling the ending, that doesn't happen here. That absolutely does not happen here. And I like the way that they kind of deal with this. Now, that being said, I have to say this. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about how revenge is dealt with in Hollywood. On how a lot of times I think they try and deal with the aspect of, there are certain films where a character gets revenge and then there's a certain sense of closure that happens. And I don't really think that should be a value that we should have. Like, say for example, if someone were to, I don't know, kill my wife, and then I hunt down the killer and then I shoot him, that's not good closure, really. And in fact, all that hatred and stuff like that can just well up inside you, and you get that sort of feeling in there, and then it becomes super personal, and then I think you have some serious mental problems that will result afterwards. I am very certain of that. It's not like in the film Taken, where the main character was sort of realizing that his daughter wasn't even killed, but she was kidnapped. He's just trying to prevent worse things from happening to her. So he's able to save his daughter, but he approaches the whole thing like a business thing, where it's going like, okay, I go here, I do this, and I do this. And the main character in Blue Ruin doesn't really have that mentality. He's just sort of like figuring out how to do these things. He's trying to be the guy from Taken or Kill Bill, and he's not that guy. He's just this ordinary guy, just trying to do something, and it's not really, and why is he doing this thing? Why? What hope does he really think? He can't bring his parents back. He knows it. Why do it at all? But what's funny is his sister actually kind of supports him on this. Anyway, so check out Blue Ruin. It's a really good film, and on a pretty low budget. I think it's available on Prime. Anyway, this is Mark from the Geek Church, signing off.